collection that you are looking forward to, and is it one that you will be picking up?
Yeah, I think so. Actually, it looks pretty good. A lot of these games I've not played before as well, so it'd be fun to sort of discover them on the Evercade and play them for the first time. I think it's quite impressive. We've got a couple of 32-bit games on there, and then there's still 10 games in total, including a couple of 32-bit. So it shows what it can do. I would have thought if you had a 32-bit game on there, it would have had less games in total to fit it all on. But they've got 40 Winks, which I've not played before, but looks quite fun. And then you've also got their Super Bubble Pop, which is another 32-bit game on there. So another one with a good range of genres. You've got first-person shooter. You got this Radical Box. There's the Puzzle Bot one. It's another 3D game puzzler. Metal Mech again looks like one I'd have to play to know if it's any good. It looks interesting, but if the controls are clunky, it might be terrible. I quite like my turn-based RPGs as well. So that Legend of Legend of Wukong, isn't it? That looks like my kind of game. I definitely be playing that. So a good range. Unlike this is kind of the opposite of the Team 17 cart. I mentioned Team 17. All the games on there are multiplayer. All the games on this cart look to be single player. So they're all one-player games, which I thought was interesting. But yeah, it looks pretty good. Motor City Patrol as well. Looks like it is a fun one. And yeah, I like the fact that I've not actually played any of these games. So if I get it, that's 10 games that I've not played before. So that just definitely piqued my interest. So
okay, do you know what systems we've got here? Because I've seen Punch Kings 2002. Yeah. What's that? Game Boy Advance? Yeah. PlayStation?
It's Game Boy Advance Punch King.
Okay. Looks very nice.
It is. It's an excellent game.
Okay. I'm intrigued by Swords of Sudan because it looks like one of those games where it's come out at a time where it's really trying to push the graphics, but then actually ends up being kind of terrible. Do you know what I mean? Like when you get this game, it's like, oh, it looks really good graphics, then the controls are horribly clunky. It just has that vibe about it, but I'm really intrigued to play it because it looks like it must be really bad.
And is 40 Winks a game you've played before? Because I know a lot of people have been pushing for this game.
Never played it.
No, I've never heard of it.
I've heard of it and I've seen it, but like it came out when 3D platformers on the PS1. There's loads of them, isn't there? And I think I played, Gex and Croc and Spyro and Crash Bandicoot and all those ones. I just never got around to 40 Winks. It wasn't at the top of my list. But yeah, it looks like it could be interesting.
Yeah, and Zero Tolerance, first-person shooter, which I thought was the first. And we were chatting about this offline, weren't we? Before we believed this was the first-person shooter on Evercade, but I think there might be an Atari Lynx game.
Yeah, there's an Atari Lynx one. Yeah, that's it. Cybernoid. I think
that's
it is.
Yeah, because I was trying to rack my brain thinking, is that a typo? And then I was like, no, actually, they are right. There is one that could be classed as that on, well, it is, isn't it, on the Atari Lynx collection, as you've just mentioned. Okay.
Yeah, it'd be good to get some more first-person shooters, actually, if it can happen. Yeah. That's one genre that's missing a bit in the Evercade at the moment, is some first-person shooters.
Yeah, 100%. Okay. I'll save you until last, Sir Top and Hat, because you'll be able to tell us what consoles all of these games are on and a bit of backstory. So I'll just hand over to you, Blunners. Is this one that you've got your eye on? You'd be interested in purchasing?
Yeah, other than I have played 40 Winks, but other than that, I haven't played any of the other games on there. And is pretty much what TriangleFace was just saying. That they do look really good actually, and especially the first-person shooter one. And there's another one that looks like the old top-down GTA games back on the old PS1.
Actually.
Yeah. So, this is something I think I might wait for one you boys to get, and then I'll have a quick go and see what I think before I make my mind up. But yeah.
Okay. Okay, so you mentioned you'd play 40 Winks in the past. What kind of do you recall what kind of game it is?
It was a long time ago because as I said, my brother used to work at a video shop, and we used to.
It was 1999 on here. I'm asking you to think back almost quarter of a century here.
Yeah, so we used to have quite a lot of games through Blockbuster, but it was. I can't vaguely remember it. I vaguely remember playing it as a kid, but it wasn't one that stood out, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. It looks very nice though, and it's nice to have another PlayStation game. again?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Cool. Okay, so Sir Top and Hat, talk us through your favourites here and what systems we're getting on this collection.
Well, the first one I want to really give a huge shout out to, and I was a massive fan of it in the arcade and on the PlayStation 1, and it's great to see Radical Bikers. Now, this version originally was made by Bit Managers Stroke Gallego, and it was cancelled during production. It's for the Game Boy Color, and I'm absolutely delighted it's been finished off and brought to the Evercade, because I only ever saw, I think, one or two glimpses in magazines years ago of it in production. So it's fantastic to see they've managed to capture that one. So I think that's given us a real treasure, and it's great fun. If you enjoy things like Paperboy, for instance, where you deliver the papers, this one you've got to deliver the pizzas, and you've got to get there before the other pizza houses. They're all going to be racing to deliver the pizza. So a bit like Crazy Taxi, you've got to get to that area and drop off the pizza. So I think people will have a lot of fun with it once they give it a go, but it's just one of those that I think once you've had a go, you'll be hooked and you'll want to deliver more. And yeah, it's just great fun. Other one that's a massive favorite of mine is Punch King on the Game Boy Advance. I love the speech in it. It was something that captured me years ago. I love the count when the referee starts to do the count when you knock an opponent down or you score a knockout. It's got some great characters in it, and I was a big fan of Punch Out. So yeah, this sort of gives you that similar feel. And if you were to buy it on somewhere like eBay today, boxed, you'll easily part with £50
Wow.
for a game like that. So yeah, you won't pay any less than that, certainly. So yeah, you'll be looking at 50 there. Another one I was a huge fan of back in the day was Metal MECH. I loved RoboCop and I loved Ed 209, and it sort of reminds me a bit of that. If you remember on the Amiga, there was also another game called Killing Game Show, which featured another sort of Ed 209 character. In Metal MECH, you don't just play the robot; you're actually a person inside of it. And as you go along the level, you press the button and you jump out. And you've got a little handgun, and you can go up ladders and down in the sewers, and you've got to collect certain things and then get back into your robot, and off you go again. So yeah, that's a fantastic game. And also originally, it was made by Gallego, of course, that we've already got 2 collections by. So it's fantastic to see that Piko actually managed to snap that one up, because yeah, it's quite a big game, to be honest. And again, you wouldn't part with anything less than £60 on eBay. So again, it's I think it's a great find. Other ones, you mentioned Motor City Patrol. Fantastic game. Yeah, very similar to the look of the PlayStation 1 GTAs. You drive around the streets, you can fire a gun, and you get these little, you look on the map, and then you can see where the crimes are being committed. And it will let you know on a little screen with a little digitized picture of the criminal. Like say Bert, and he's done a bank robbery. And then bank robbers, I think, are in red cars. And then I think other types of criminals are in green cars. And you've either got to shoot at them, or you can put your blues and twos on and skid in front of their car and arrest them. You do so many arrests per level. And again, to purchase this one on eBay, easily £150. If you remember the original license for it on the NES, that was Matchbox that made it. So the people that made the Matchbox car. So yeah, obviously they've stripped off the Matchbox license, but yeah, still a fantastic game and definitely worth a go. So yeah, similar with the RPG on there. I mean, you wouldn't, if you go to eBay at this exact moment, you'll pay £250 for the only copy on there. So this is a huge collection. I totaled up myself whilst having a brief look, roughly around £781 worth of games there. So it's 100% worth people's time. And as I say, some real gems on that collection. So definitely.
Okay, and the 40 Winks, what can we expect from that?
Yeah, I mean, I had 40 Winks back in the day on the PlayStation 1. Fantastic game. Really great fun. I enjoyed all those sorts of games at the time. And yeah, that was massive. So yeah, I think people will have a lot of fun with that one. I think it's a real crowning jewel of the collection.
Okay, and Tim touched on Sword of Sudan, looking nice, but playing not very nice. Can you confirm that, or do you quite like?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people that are fans of this game. Piko owned 2 versions. They own the Mega Drive and the Commodore Amiga. it's one of those games I think you've got to give it a go, and it's either for you or it's not. So yeah, it's very much that type of game. So yeah, I can't tell you you'll definitely get into it, but if you do, it is a very good looking game. And yeah, the characters are a bit wooden and things like that, but yeah, overall I think it's quite a good little adventure.
Okay, so that's the Mega Drive version we're getting here.
I would imagine so, yes, but I don't know definitely.
Okay, so what systems are we getting here then? So you mentioned Game Boy Advance, Mega Drive,
Yeah,
NES, PlayStation. Are there any others there? Master System or
no.
that covers it?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I think that covers all the bases.
Okay.
Game Boy Color, of course, and that's about it.
Like what's Game Boy Color? Sorry.
Game Boy Color is Radical Bikers.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, that's not in the pictures. There is a
No.
No, I was looking for that when you were talking about it, thinking, "Where's the picture?" And I couldn't. But they've just put the 9.
I'd certainly love to see the PlayStation 1 version at a later date or the arcade. So yeah, either would be great. It's a fantastic game.
Yeah, no, it is a very, very nice collection, and one that's definitely piqued my interest. I think the last two, actually, the Team 17 and this one, are both going to draw people in and possibly
definitely.
new audience to the Evercade as well, because when they see Amiga, that's definitely going to draw them in. But yeah, I like the look of the Punch King. If you say it's similar to Punch Out, I used to love Punch Out when I was a kid.
Yeah.
So yeah, very much looking forward to that. And that Zero Tolerance looks awesome as well. So
yeah, definitely. One of the most asked for games on the Evercade.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, so this is released at the end of April, or is it the end of May?
End of May for this one.
End of May. Okay, and this is the one that.
If this goes down well, Piko Interactive also own Duke Nukem 3D, so I wouldn't be against seeing that in the future if people like their first-person shooters.
Oh, there seems a lot of interest in it when you go on the Facebook groups, and people do mention about first-person shooters and the lack of them on Evercade, and people call for